So we just kind of made it a Peter, Paul, and Mary thing, so I just invented the Paul.
This is Paul, and Rodney Pender was Willoughby.
Yeah, that was
And
actually-
David, you remember Jim Hunt? Some of you met him a few years ago. A lot of you know him. And Jim was Carl.
That was my first paying gig.
What was it?
$20.
Yeah, one gig.
Yeah,
One gig they had, and I don't know why. I mean, the music that they sang. Now, and I have to say right here, David, that
I was a hitter.
yeah, I know you are.
So the draft guard rags on that.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah,
Draft guard rags on that.
But let me, I have to tell you this, since it hasn't come, Willoughby was supposed to be here tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown up. Now I've got to ad lib for 30 more minutes. But anyway, listen to this. Now this is the 70s, remember, okay? This is the Draft Dodger rag. I don't know why they didn't make it, you know?
You gonna do the lyrics to it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a typical American boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what, now just remember, this is the 70s. But what I want you to remember is, this is like 72 or 3. He was licensed in 74 and then ordained in 76. So there's quite a change takes place from 72. Let's see. I'm just a typical American boy from a typical American town. I believe in God and Senator Dodd and keeping old Castro down. And when it came my time to serve, I knew better dead than red. But when I got to my old draft board, buddy, this is what I said. Now I'll stop there. But I don't know why that happened.
On 16, I got a ruptured spleen.
Yeah. Sergeant, okay, Sergeant. Well, you were saying you're
My eyes are getting worse. I don't remember my phone number, but I remember the lyrics.
Oh, you were Sarge, I'm only 18. You got it wrong. 18. I got a ruptured spleen. I always carry a purse. I got eyes like a bat and my feet are flat and my asthma is getting worse. Yes, think of my career, my sweetheart dear, and my poor old invalid aunt. Besides, I ain't no fool. I'm going to school and I'm working in a defense plant. I just don't know why that didn't make it. You know? Why they only have one gig. Well, anyway, Willoughby was supposed to come walking in playing the guitar at this point, but I don't know what's happened. Anyway, but also, go ahead and tell about you and Willoughby and Carl a minute. I need to make a phone call. Just say anything. If I can get a line, it's not. Okay, well, anyway, that's 2 down. Well, anyway, Carl, he's helped me set a lot of this up, so. But he said to tell you, he's still waiting for another gig.
Okay.
He's still waiting for his second gig.
Did they tell you about the time we played in the Miami church for Christmas? And it just about ended my career as a musician. Everything that possibly go wrong went wrong that night. We had like a saxophone, a clarinet, and we were behind a screen where the organ speaker would the sound would come out, so no one could see us. We had all these instruments back then. We knocked over the stand, knocked over the saxophone, the reed split on the saxophone, which already sounded like we already played like donkeys, but everything that could go wrong went wrong, and I just about gave up music that night.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that. Also, the instruments that they played, I understand, for this gig was 2 guitars and a tuba.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That draft dodger?
You have to have a hook.
Yeah, that was good. What can you tell me about Arlo Guthrie?
Oh, well, Alice Restaurant.
Yeah, Alice is right.
Good. I don't know what more to say.
That's good. That's it.
I memorized the entire Alice's Restaurant. That's a great.
I printed it out in 11 font. It was 7 pages, one song.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 7 pages down the Maybe that was the whole thing.
That also almost in my career.
Yeah.
I memorized the whole thing, and we were going to do it for the intermission at the band. You know, we have band concerts at intermediate band takes over from the beginning band. And so, I get up, and we've already been assigned to do that, and this is not like half an hour before the show, band director says, "I'd like to hear it." And he said, "It can't be more than 2 minutes long." Usually 20 minutes thing.
Yeah.
We sang this song of silence as a protest.
Sing this song of
Uh,
silence.
You ready? Just a
Yeah, you guys
second.
just went over like a lead balloon. So
Yeah, it is, but I'm enjoying it. This is my show, and I'm enjoying it, so don't worry. Before we go into it,
It's called Fun Night, and I don't think that.
well, it's gonna be downhill from there. I think we need to have a word from our sponsor, because of so much work that's gone into this. This is Fiddler's Restaurant. If you're in Steinhatchee, Florida, I want to advertise Fiddler's Restaurant. This is Jim Hunt, Carl, they're part of the trio here. Wonderful seafood, so I just want to put that little plug in.
We did perform for Music Workshop. Are people here old enough to remember Little Bonnie Food Food?
That's right.
Little bunny food.
David, how many instruments do you play?
It's difficult to say. I think the number is 14, but I don't know that you can count a dobro guitar as different from a regular guitar. You probably do, but a bass guitar, do you count that? And so I don't know. But there are probably 11 instruments that would not be embarrassed to play on stage.
Okay.
And the others I play, I wouldn't feel. It's a number. About 14 probably is the number.
Well, I want to give you number 15.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We want to hear out of it later, No, later.
Much later.
We have a little, several segments here. I'm going to use some little clips from videos. Go ahead and start. Now this first one, David, this is one of David's normal poses as a teenager. For one of the,
Yeah.
my bad.
I was much thinner then.
Okay.
Number 3.
Nice guys. Great. Is this at Florida camp?
Okay, watch this now. I want you to notice that David was always fascinated in trying new things.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's.
Oh my gosh.
What happens if we move the propeller? Now, that is Carl Paul Wooley there.
Yep,
One of them wearing a shirt. The others are not. And those pants, my taste is.
That's right.
Maturity's not my song.
Yeah, maturity was out the wall, off the wall or something outside. Anyway, you know, David's always had a skill for putting things together. He's had a skill for finding old things and doing something positive with them. Let's take a look at this and we'll get David to, now remember again, he was licensed in 74 and ordained in 76. You know what it is? I bet you can't tell what it is.
I know that.
You need to turn the lights on.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's
let's turn these lights out.
it's
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
was a rather famous night in church history.
Yes.
Whoa.
That's the orange bowl.
That's the Orange Bowl.
I taught it in someone's front yard. And music is playing on very loud speakers on one of Miami's biggest streets. And that was Deacon Jimmy Jackson.
Okay, so you see his skills.
You know, I spent a lifetime training these young people. It's not fair to the young people.
That's right. Now, from what I understand, this was a Wednesday prayer meeting night.
Maybe it's good.
They skipped to do this in a deacon's yard, okay? I thought it was cool, okay? Now, that leads me to another thing about David. have any of you that have ever been around him much and you know what a thinker he is, and I'm serious that he is a thinker. He's always, and he just comes up, and it's one thing that's impressed me so much about David, is he's quick, you know, and whatever he's quick to the thought, and just things come to him so good. I've always wondered where he got his ideas from.
I have forgiven. Yeah, I have a feeling that the orange bowl will be. Is the popcorn part of the story?
Yeah.
Good. Well, you know, there was this toilet on the side of the road, and we didn't know, you know, we had orange paint. It just seemed like a logical thing to use. And then he's coming home from church.
Yeah.
And little known to him, in his trunk is all popcorn.
Are you kidding?
He discovered that a week later.
Oh, no.
And that's
That's
why
Jimmy,
we
that's
asked her,
Church Bobby.
she's think it's funny. He doesn't think it's funny. He's about killers. And again, this is on Miami Avenue. It is the main drag of Miami. And,
He's coming up with a better idea.
well, actually, we did use, the Orange Bowl was in Miami, and we did use that in the Orange Bowl.
That's Bobby's dog.
Now, I'm surprised that film was invented at this. Wow.
Okay.
So I had to come to Jim Hunt. He owned the movie. He owned the movie.
Yeah, let me,
Huh?
Do you think we can let your grandchildren stay?
I think
that's the worst as it gets.
maybe.
But I want to say all of this, and let me just give a word. That's why I'm doing the advertisement for Fiddler's Restaurant. Provided all these were Super 8 videos. Now, this leads to another thought about David. We know he's a great thinker. He's a good leader. You know, I'll be honest, I would love to have David as a pastor, as my pastor. I would, David. I mean that seriously.
I'm touched.
We know that.
How is softball for you?
But he always respects his elders, he respects deacons.
Yeah, we saw that.
And he knows just how to handle them. And I think that's evident from this next skill. So let's see the next little part here.
Oh, this is the wrestling match.
Yeah. Now remember, Jimmy's in the code. Jimmy Dasher's in the code.
But he wasn't a fireman, so he.
Yeah.
He really like just beat up on an old man. He had some. I think I'm feeling the worst of that.
Now he has high respect for women too, like Sister Bobby here in just a second.
So remember, go to church. Do not.
Oh my
Do
gosh.
not miss much night. This can happen to you.
Is that you, David? No, that's Jim.
Now, not my best side, all right.
David's Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
A clown.
Oh, she was crying. Oh, I'm from, all right. And the dog.
And the dog. More wrestling.
More wrestling, okay. We did tie that man to a tree once.
Yeah. That was one of their better projects.
That was a camp.
Yeah. At camp, one year, they did catch him, but they were a little older by then. They caught him, they tied him to a tree. Now, he was furious. They had to go hide. In fact, I think we took him off campus while we untied him. But anyway, that's another story.
I want a warning to all young men, that if this is how you grow up, the Lord has a funny sense of humor.
That's right. We're gonna get to some real good, positive, serious things in a little bit.
Well, I thought it was pretty positive.
And you were definitely serious.
I guess that's who I was.
Another thing with David is that he's always out front, like tonight with the music.
I was asked.
I know. But he's always leading the way. He's a good leader, and it seems like if you ever go anywhere, he always knows it might be his first time, but he'll find out how to get there. Now with GPSs and Google and everything, man, he'll memorize it. So you want to go somewhere, sure, let's go. And off you go. He knows directions well. But there was a time when he really wasn't that not well off. Look at this next clip here. And this was at going to a Bible conference in, I think, 1972. And from Jim Hunt's uncle's farm to Tifton. Now that's David in the weirdo pants.
Is that the only
I think I still have this.
You still have those, do you?
There's only one leg fits in it. That was the song you interrupted. I was going to do, you don't want to be a hypocrite. Oh,
Yeah, you can do that.
I missed the Ba Ba Bosh song. This is not getting better at all. I really.
Well, Rodney said, well, no, I know the way. We'll just follow me. This is Willoughby, not the horse. That was Wilbur, the horse.
And this is in the town of Axton, Georgia. And at that time, Bible conference is in Tifton, Georgia.
Now there's David. He's going to give you the directions. Yeah. He's on the horse. Yeah. David wants to go one way and Rodney another.
Man, I'm murdered.
Poor horse was confused.
Another thing that I think of David, now he leads the way, but then the odd thing is that people are always following him. No matter what, people follow him, no matter where he goes, people are always following him. School, people follow him. I got a lot of information from your wife, too.
She can't be trusted.
I think she can. And school, camp, Bible conference. One I have to tell you, and I wish I'd had a video of this, but one year, David and Jim, we were down at Tifton at ABAC at Bible conference, and they had the bright idea that this was when waterbeds came in. They took a waterbed to Bible conference. What, second or third floor? I forget.
Yeah, we were on the second floor.
Yeah, second
We had to get
floor.
a hose and they didn't have air conditioning, so we just opened the windows and put the hose from the spigot on the outside. And that was before they heated the water bed. It was just basically a bladder that held water.
Yeah.
But we had the most popular room bed.
You did. Until you were ready to leave and you couldn't get the water out fast enough for Jimmy Dasher. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out. That's not me. Anyway, no matter what, people always following David. And here's just an example. And I'm really not sure what this was.
That was like the Miami Church parking lot.
Yeah, I think it was, and it was a car wash you were having, I think, or a youth rally. There's David getting out of the car, then look, just keep counting here. Yeah, look at it.
We're trying to save gas.
Yeah.
We also went to drive-in movies that way.
We did that too in the sixties. How many of you get in the trunk? How many ever did that when they drive in, loaded up a trunk full? Oh, I'm sorry.
First, you'll have to tell them what to drive in.
Drive-in.
Oh, yeah. That'll be next year. All right, so, let's see, something else here I need to get out for you. This is a little different, let's take another instrument while you're at it.
All right, but 16 now.
Yeah, we just want to add to your number. We're gonna have more music at the end of the program, and he's gonna play all his new instruments that he gets tonight.
I'm sure
At one time.
they offered this program so far.
David, at Florida camp sometimes, we always have, just like here at camp, always have a game night, you know, and so David, one year wanted to be a captain. And so I was a captain, he was a captain, and so we were in a relay race, really simple relay race. And anyway, I want you to see what happened when the little segment of me, and I was a little different back then too. And then David, and just see how David tries to do the race. And you'll notice after David comes through, everyone else followed his leadership and how they did the race. That's me.
Elwood and Holly, I think, there.
Yeah, there's David.
In Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa.
What are we doing? Balloon between our legs?
Balloon between your legs and a pie plate on your chest.
Why are they walking like that?
I'm not sure that. I wasn't either. That might be a Cecile there.
I think it is.
I mean, it actually could be Cecile.
I think it was Cecile. There's several. You've got the full
She's
video.
hot, Becky. No,
All right, up to this point, we tried to roast David a little bit. See, I got a couple of things before we move on to the serious part. You know, David's a real sports, I want to almost say fanatic. Whatever the sport is, he's always watching. Anybody know his favorite team?
Gators.
Gators.
That's right, the Bulldogs.
This will stay clean.
Okay, one of the things, before I move on serially here in a minute, David, back when he first moved to Tampa, David and I got together and we started writing some literature for children. And we would alternate, we did it religiously for a long time. We'd go to my house one, religiously get it. Thanks, Debbie, I'm glad somebody caught that.
Well, I didn't know you did it on purpose.
I didn't, but when she laughed, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got together, and David would come over. He'd ride over and
At 12 noon every day.
every day,
Yeah.
right, lunchtime.
He was very good.
And he would always. I don't know how many of you know him. He really liked Diet Pepsi. Did you all know that?
Yes.
Huh?
Well, there was one of the deacons, back when I started liking the deacons, worked
Yeah.
for Pepsi-Cola.
Yeah. He, in fact, even tried to ask him one time how much you had to order to get it delivered to the house. But anyway, David, in commemoration of our
Okay.
work together, I got you a
Diet Pepsi.
2-liter cup, and he would bring 4 to 6 of them over to the house whenever.
Yeah, I did have a bad drinking habit.
Yeah. I'm glad he outgrew it. But anyway, now where was it? Oh, yeah. I want to get serious with some things now with David. David is always, from the very beginning, of his ministry, and even before, I've just always been impressed. After all of this other, but even that impresses me too. But seriously, the gifts and the abilities that God's given to David, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the years that we've been able to work together and do things together. He's a student of scriptures. I think we would all agree with that, with his preaching and his teaching and all that he does. I tried to get different other people involved in helping out with this, and Nadine refused to do it. So I did contact your sister, Eve.
My goodness.
Yes, I did make that. I just
Would have
have
been nicer to her. Probably a little late to do that.
Yeah, you should have been. Apparently there's something happened back. I wrote her, here's what I did. When I contacted Eve, I wrote to her on Facebook, messaged her, and I said, we are roasting David at Music Workshop in July. It's a secret. Can you record a voice file for me? And there's something good on David in his childhood. The key word there was good. Now that can be taken different ways, good or good, Anyway, Jim Hunt is getting the video of the toilet they put in Jimmy Dasher's yard. Message me back and I'll send you my number. Well, here's what Eve wrote back. She said, oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that toilet. I don't know, Pat. How good is your witness protection? I don't know what happened, but apparently you should have been nicer.
I should have been nicer.
You might have had something nice to say. Oh yeah, and don't forget fiddlers.
And they do have excellent seafood.
They do.
Yes.
I recommend the Monterey grouper. If you Where is she? Monterey. Yeah, it's true. Monterey, it is true. You got Monterey. It's named after you, by the way. It's named after you. Yeah, it's real cheesy.
Perfect setup, Monterey.
Yeah, back to, I keep finding things in here that I can't, I have a hard time getting this serious. But anyway, I'm caught up now. Except for one more incident here.
This one's got actual notes that were changed.
Yeah, maybe you can do better with that one. Okay, all right, I wanna just talk about David's ministry, now. And, we think about the positive things he's done, and I want to just mention the churches that he has served. He preached his first sermon when he was 13. So if that says anything,
Since the people didn't know I was.
This was pre-72 in the videos.
Actually, they thought I was 18. I've always looked much older than I am. And they thought I was 18, and so I didn't know any different. I just went ahead and preached. But it probably did open some eyes, and that was probably the start of people thinking that maybe that's what I'm going to do for my life.
I think some things with his experience and mine have kind of gone a lot similar in a lot of ways like that. But one of the things several things that impressed me, one was that Carolyn, he graduated from high school the same year that he was licensed, right, 1974.
The day I was licensed, Nixon resigned.
Okay.
That's true.
Same day, doing this.
It was a music workshop, and we had gone to a television station to record. At that time, we had a television show, and we were going to the workshop crew was going to sing, and we're waiting to go in, and the teletype is going off. Nixon resigns, and then at the same time, we got a phone call saying that the church had been licensed that night. So I'm sure that was really exciting to you.
So whenever you asked, where were you, what were you doing when Nixon resigned?
I was being licensed to preach.
David would cut grass at members' church members' houses in order to have money to take Carolyn out on a date. Isn't that interesting? And he also saved up enough money cutting grass to buy her ring.
All the money I had in the world.
All of it, see? Oh, that's great too. He also got a job, maybe one of his first real paying job was with grass, but,
Yeah,
at
so
a
that's-
florist shop,
True.
told them that he knew how to drive a manual
No, they just said that we wanted a driver. They didn't tell me that it was stick shift. So I get the job and I walk in, get into the car and or the truck and so I just, try to remember that Volkswagen H, and put my foot on the clutch and I put it into second instead of first and things just, the boss is standing right there. And I roll down the window, said, "Is this a 3-speed or a 4-speed?" I thought it was, by the end of the day, I was doing pretty good.
So he got that job, and that was good that he did. And then he got called to Palmacia Church, and that was in what, 76? Was it?
I was ordained in 70, I went there in February 77.
Right. And when he moved there,
It seems like a long time ago.
I know it was. David, and he moved to, let me catch up with myself here. Okay, tell us something else, and I gotta back up a little bit on some of the funnier stuff. Tell us about the Orange Bowl parade.
Well, we thought about, entering that, just pulling that thing in the Orange Bowl parade. The Miami Church, as an annual event, went to the Orange Bowl parade, which was New Year's Eve. And then we would go to someone's house afterwards and see in the New Year. Usually to the man I tied to the tree but usually it was his house. So I said, well, I need to get into this parade, not just watch it. And so I went to Goodwill and got some long johns and just dressed up like a clown. And got the tuba. We borrowed it from the high school. I don't know if we ever returned it, but we borrowed it from the high school. And I just kind of oom-pawed my way, put Happy New Year on there, and Nebraska band was, Nebraska was playing the Orange Bowl game, and so I just got behind the band and walked and made it on national TV. So that was, I had people from Tennessee say, "I saw you on the Orange Bowl parade." And I was intending to bring the Orange Bowl, but we figured to just play the tuba and dance in underwear.
That was good. Here's some other things that Carolyn.
I just don't think this is good for me.
Well, that's why it's called a roast.
A roast, yeah. The thing is, you're supposed to exaggerate. These are all things. These seem to be very true. I'm glad tomorrow's sermon's on penance.
Well, let's look at some positive things now.
Oh, dude,
The silver, something, huh? What?
See, it happens to other people too. There you
Yeah,
go.
oh, yeah.
There you go.
Take note of it. Doesn't get any better. He had the Silver Knight Award in All right, back to the script. He won the Silver Knight Award for English in high school. He represented their school in the county-wide competitions. He was PTA president in Swainsboro Elementary School.
Not as a child.
Not as a child. That was when Catherine was in elementary school. He helped raise funds for Camp Sunlight. Anybody remember the big event fundraiser that David was in?
Oh, yeah.
Bike ride, right, from Miami to Jessup. Quite a ride. That was a great event. He also helped put some roofs on the buildings down there. He was president of the Savannah Exchange Club, district advisor for a while. He got awards for giving over 14 gallons of blood. He was listed in 5 years ago.
It's close to 20 now.
20 now, okay. That thing?
Not all at once. I mean.
Yeah, no.
Over 2 years.
He was in one of the original group that went down to Haiti. Was on the board of Old Baptist Ministry to Haiti in the 70s to 85. He was a part of that. He's on the Nets Ministry board now, and serves and helps as we do humanitarian aid with Haiti and all. He does that. He wrote an article and was published in Newsweek at one point. Writes Bible study lessons presently. And we'll pass through them.
Yeah, but wait, that's it. In fact, I thought about it going home tonight and writing.
A member of the Rotary Club. His longest bike ride since Florida was 63 miles in 2013. Remember when he kind of an anniversary of that first ride. He doesn't like heights, or Carolyn says at least doesn't
Don't like
like
legends.
Well, and she said you don't like her hanging over mountain edges.
Right.
Explain that.
I can roof, but I can't do the last thing. I can't do the ledge, and she loves to peek over the side of the cliff, and it terrifies me.
I can understand. Do you know what your last line was in that you said about him? He was one. You don't remember? Okay. Well, I'll say, I love this line that she put in here. He is one awesome dude.
It's one awesome. Yeah.
And I agree. All right, David was married November the 28th,
75.
Should have been November 28th. Carolyn became a nurse and he became a minister at approximately the same time. Carolyn remembers saying.
I want to make sure she was employed before.
Here's her quote.
That's so I can go on these vacations to need to work.
Yeah. Here's what she said. She said, David, if I don't pass my boards, we can't get married because we won't have any money.
Pretty much.
So that's, she knew he was going to be ordained and never mind.
I remember Sister Ethelyn Scott said to her at the first minister's wives meeting, she said, you knew ahead of time?
All right. David then moved to Palmacia. They had a dog named Bert, but he was affectionately known as Bert.
Yeah.
Tell us, I remember Bert.
He would belch in your face.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was Mickey Harris who had a meeting with us, or maybe it was Steve Flowers, but they said, did you say Bert? And they really thought his name was Bert because he kept on doing that, which is better than other things.
I have to, is Missy in here? Okay, your mom, we were moving from Palmacia and everybody loved Bert. And your mom loved him so much that they took him and he stayed in your backyard actually for a while until he jumped it and left. But he was very much loved.
Yes. And Missy was the first baby born in my ministry at that time.
Oh, Missy, stand. And one of the things that David remembered so much about Palmacia was having to stop preaching while the jets flew over. Really,
That's true.
If you have it, yeah.
Mayfield Air Force Base,
That happens.
1 mile away, and it's right in the flight path of Mayfield Air Force.
And they flew right over the Pastorium when we lived there and scared you to death early Saturday morning, especially the big cargoes. It was fun, anyway. One of the exciting things while David was in Palmacia was a motorcycle trip that they made. That was about 1979 because Catherine was born in.
Yeah, we wanted to do it before we had children.
Yes,
and we
yes.
didn't want to leave them orphaned.
He just decided it was something he wanted to do. And Carolyn wasn't that fond of the idea because she knew about motorcycles and she up in hospitals about it, but he wanted to do it, so they got a motorcycle. They hid it in the house because they didn't want the people at Palmacia to know that he had it. So they hid it in the house.
We went to a work day at Camp Hill, at Camp Sunlight.
You read my book?
No, that's how they found out.
Yeah, David calls me when he says, can I come up, and I wanna have a work day come up and work at the camp. Kathy and I were living at the camp then. So I said, sure. I said, come on out and have breakfast with us. So he comes up and I'm getting breakfast ready and I hear a motorcycle. I said, I wonder who in the world's coming up, on a motorcycle. Here he was. That was his first solo long trip to come up there. So he gets there, we had breakfast. Do you remember what we had for breakfast?
Duck eggs.
Yes, duck eggs.
Now, why can't I remember my phone number? That's what I
Anyway, we're sitting there eating breakfast, and here comes Pierre and some others from Palmacia, because they're coming up to work too. So the cat's out of the bag about the motorcycle.
Now, part of the interesting, Sister Mildred
Yeah.
was at the Northern Virginia church, and we went to Boston from Tampa. That was our trip, and back, thankfully back. So we went to the Northern Virginia church. We had like 2 changes of clothes, good pair, and then one, you had to say it wouldn't be naked at the washateria. One to wash and one to stand. Yeah. Now, we literally camped in a pup tent, and we just went across. But we went to the Northern Virginia church on Sunday, and Sister Mildred graciously invites us to church and says, just follow us. I said, okay, but I'm in a motorcycle, and her job is
So that was a memorable trip.
very memorable trip. I don't know what Carol told you.
No, you go ahead, that's it. Well, she told me about, you were so excited to leave that she got off early for the midnight shift
Oh, yeah.
and left at 3 or 4 o'clock.
We just wanted, it was exciting to us, and we didn't think about fog, and, this is silly. Tampa is about 1 hour from Brooksville, and there was a Holiday Inn in Brooksville. We were soaking wet by then, all of the fog. And so we took off at 3 in the morning and stopped at 4. It was a slow start.
Because there was suit of clothes.
Yeah, that's right. We had it right. We had it standard. Well, we are getting to move,
Well, that's all.
Lord.
What do you expect for 35 years? All right, then you went to Lake Chapel in 1980. You moved there, and this was city come to country. When they moved the Lake Chapel, they lived on one of the only paved roads at that time.
Well, I think the 2 paved roads, one from Odom and one from Patterson.
First time that they ever experienced a party line. Any of you remember party line? Yeah, okay. Catherine was 3 months old then, same age as Vicki and Edsel Lee's, Morgan. So,
And it's a joy, I'm sitting next to the stage, Morgan John.
yeah.
Travel.
So that was good years. April was born there in 83.
True, on a Sunday morning. I made it to church in time to preach.
Good.
April was born in 30 minutes from the time I got to the hospital.
Wow.
And he said, "What? Don't you know what day it is?"
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I didn't say it on Sunday. I'm working.
1985 then, you went to Delray for a year, and good bicycle trips. Bicycle and motorcycle, that seems to be the thing. Back to bicycles now, they're safer.
Let me explain my skin cancer.
Should do. So good trips there. Then Swainsboro in 1986, he moved there. Horrible storm, made you late getting there for you were like drowned rats.
Yeah, they had a welcome dinner and
Yeah.
where Carolyn was soaking wet.
You broke down near Baxley, and some deacons came down
From
and
Lake
got,
Chapel Church?
got
On Saturday.
took them up, right?
Lynn, Switzer.
Yeah, and, the interesting thing is that David had.
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep.
David, I guess you were in the truck, and they were in the.
Yeah, I forgot to look in the rearview mirror.
They were way back.
They were stranded on the road.
He had to turn around and go back. Anyway, they got delivered, so that was glorious, loving church and.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
But
Good times.
your first trip to meet the church people and you got soaking wet.
1989, you moved to Faith.
Sure.
Your children were in elementary school, preteens, lots of love and fellowship
Yeah,
there.
I never tied Dean Robbins to a tree, ever.
And you were girls' basketball coach there,
That is true. We had a very exciting one-win season.
What does this mean? There's no pride in basketball?
I never had coached girls before,
Oh.
and they tend to cry.
That makes a good line in a movie.
Yeah, that was it. I discovered the truth of the Tom Hanks line, and that made me, because, they didn't respond as I thought they might.
I then in '97 moved to Lanes, and the girls were then in their teens, and lots of wonderful friends. Catherine and Abel were married there.
Married both my daughters.
I remember
To
those
each other.
weddings. And I understand that there was a pretty fantastic go-away when you left there, too. Is that right? Send-off or something? I don't know.
That was a pastor appreciation night.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't the last night I was there.
Oh, okay.
Which has been a fine time to show you appreciation.
Okay.
Now, let me
All right.
start first and foremost.
All right, this is it.
We've been talking a lot.
Oh, this is, now I understand why you wanted the volleyball.
We've been talking a lot. Brother David has done a lot of amazing things. He's done some really inspirational stuff. He is just someone we really look up to. And as was mentioned a while ago, he went to Haiti a few times and was helping there and building up the churches there and people there. But one story he doesn't really like to share, and I'm going to share it tonight, if that's all right, is he was flying down to Haiti one time, and all of a sudden there was this freak storm and his plane crashed on a deserted island. And he was there for 3 years. Just skip those 3 years. He was there for a good while, and he thought he was alone. He was traveling and looking at this island, trying to figure out, how to build a shelter. And all of a sudden, he stumbles across somebody else who's stranded on this island. This person had never heard about God. They've never heard about Christ. They've never been to church or anything like that. They are stranded on this island, and they see David, and automatically they're just best buds because they're in the same boat. They are on this deserted island. No, there wasn't a boat.
That was a 3-hour tour. That was
An island over. But Brother David, while he was there, he built many of you aren't familiar with this, it closed a while back, the Primitive Baptist Church of Deserted Island. He built that, and then
I thought it was the Ark.
things got a little rowdy, so he moved from that one and went to a different one. So Wilson is the man's name. He was deserted on this island with him. And Brother David invited him to church. Obviously, Brother David was preaching, whether Wilson would show up or not. And one day, as Wilson was in the back row, Brother David was preaching, and he gave the invitation, and just down the aisle, Wilson just rolled away. So, what Brother David doesn't really know is, after the Lanes Search and Rescue Pastoral Committee and called Brother David to be pastor at Lanes, Brother Wilson went on to seminary. He studied, he became ordained, and now he's a pastor. I invited him here tonight. He's here. So, will you please welcome. Give a warm welcome to Wilson.
Yeah, I showed up at church one night and the entire church was in Hawaiian shirts. And that was probably the most touching tribute that I've ever received as pastor. To look out, and of course, most of them were mine. They didn't have their own. Carolyn had emptied the closet, and well, it was kind of unusual. You look at it and go, well, look there, it's a white shirt. Another one, another one. Anyway, they were very gracious. Andy was probably, 16, 17, I don't know, he was a young man, and still is. But, and they gave, this is the Gilligan's Island theme. Alright, so that's my cookie jar, which you don't get to steal any cookies, it does that theme all the time. But that was one of their gifts. It was a luau night. Kinda like,
And so then after Lanes, you went to, Beer Street, and that's where your pastor is now.
Right, man.
10 years?
last team.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just, as I said to begin with, I'm thankful for David and, for his ministry. I'm thankful. One of the last trips that he and I made together was, in 2010, down to Lauderdale to carry a load of supplies. He and Kurt Bacon and, our grandson Nicholas went down to Lauderdale to carry supplies down to get them on the ship.
I tried to get Nicholas a tattoo, but he wouldn't.
He was and I had a souvenir that I got. We went to Ron John's. You know what that? Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do it. So I got a souvenir, but I want you to have it.
All right.
It's a Woody with a
So
shirt.
what do you want to look for?
So,
All right, we'll have fun.
let's win with it. And, but I'm thankful for David's love for the Lord, his love for humor, his love for the Lord, on top of it, his love for the scriptures, and music, and to sing the praises of his Lord. You've been an inspiration to a lot of people, David, in a positive way. And I'm one of them. I want you to know that. And we love you, and I think Kathy, to close, after I give you a hug, she's going to say something.
Kathy Rushing sent this to you, and when you open it, you can tell the story.
And while I'm visiting this, this is an unbelievable honor.
Don't break the rhythm.
And I'm supposed to share this content with the people.
She said you was nice.
Oh, my goodness. This is his wife.